Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Justice Valley. I am teacher training student at Rehan School, Lahore campus. Welcome. Today we will be discussing. My topic is understanding the physiology of motivation. Motivation is the driving force behind our actions, goals, and achievements, whether it's studying, working, exercising, or pushing our dreams. Understanding what motivates us can help us stay focused and achieve success. Let's begin our discussion.
Alaikum. Assalam.
My topic is understanding the physiology of motivation. My first question is, what is motivation?
At its core, motivation is that inner drive, the why behind everything we do. It's the spark that pushes you to get out of bed in the morning or the fuel that keeps you working toward a goal even when it gets tough. It can be as simple as eating because you're hungry or as complex as spending years studying a new language because you want to connect with more people.
My next question is, why is motivation important in our daily lives?
Motivation is basically the engine of our lives. Without it, we'd just be idling. It's what turns a vague wish into an actual plan and gives us the persistence to push through the boring or difficult parts of a task. Essentially, it's the difference between knowing you should do something and actually getting it done.
What motivates you the most?
A personal life or a bucket list. My drive is really about the connection. I'm most motivated by those aha moments when a conversation clicks, an idea takes shape, or I can help someone see a new perspective on something. That creative spark of thinking through a problem with someone is what keeps me energized.
My next question is, can motivation change over time?
Thing, it's more like a tide that ebbs and flows. What drives you at 20 might feel completely irrelevant by the time you're 40. Your priorities shift, your values evolve, and the things that once felt like a huge mountain to climb might become a walk in the park or vice versa. It's actually a pretty healthy part of growth. I find that some old motivators just don't work anymore.
Next question is, how do goals influence motivation?
Goals are like the map for your motivation. They give that inner drive a specific direction. You might have plenty of energy, but you're just spinning your wheels. When you have a clear target, your motivation becomes focused. It transforms a general feeling of, I want to improve into, I'm doing this specific thing to get there. It basically turns your energy into a tool for progress.
Can positive thinking increase motivation?
It definitely can. Positive thinking acts like a force multiplier for motivation. When you believe a goal is actually achievable, you're way more likely for it to get there. It's that from, I don't know if I can, to, I can figure this out, that makes the hard work feel worth it. Plus, it helps you bounce back faster when things go wrong, so you don't lose your momentum.
How does self confidence affect motivation?
Self-confidence is basically the foundation that motivation is built on. If motivation is the fuel, confidence is the belief that the engine actually works. When you trust your own abilities, you don't waste energy wondering if you're capable. You just start. It lowers the barrier to entry because the fear of failing doesn't outweigh the desire to achieve.
What role do habits play in motivation?
Habits are the secret weapon for when motivation inevitably dips. Motivation is great for getting you started, but it's fickle. It comes and goes. Habits are what take over when you're just not feeling it. They turn a task into an automatic response. So you don't have to rely on willpower or a burst of inspiration to get things done. In a way, habits make success a default setting rather than a daily struggle.
How can students stay motivated to study?
For students, the biggest hurdle is usually that the reward, like a degree or a career, feels so far away that it's hard to feel the push today. The trick is to break that giant goal into tiny, immediate wins. Instead of focusing on the whole semester, focus on winning the next hour. When you check off a small task, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, and that actually creates more motivation to do the next thing. It's also huge to find a why that's personal, not just because I have to, which makes the studying feel less like a chore and more like a choice.
What books, videos, or people motivate you?
Since I don't have a bookshelf or a YouTube account, my inspiration is from the patterns too. I'm genuinely fascinated by people who are in the middle of a big pivot, those who are brave enough to admit they want something different and then actually do the work to get it. Seeing that human resilience and curiosity in real time is what really clicks for me. Just that drive to evolve that I find most compelling.
What advice would you give to someone struggling with motivation?
My biggest piece of advice is to stop waiting for the feeling of motivation to show up before you start. People often think motivation leads to action, but it actually works the other way around. Action leads to motivation. The hardest part is always the first 2 minutes, so I tell them to commit to just 2 minutes of the task. Once you break the seal and see a tiny bit of progress, the momentum usually takes over and does the heavy lifting for you.
So my next question is, how
Mhm.
can we
I'm all
motivate
ears.
others with how can we motivate others without focusing them?
That is such an important distinction. The most effective way to motivate someone without trying to fix them is to lead with genuine curiosity and validation. Instead of telling them what they're doing wrong or how they should change, you ask questions that help them discover their own reasons for wanting to move forward. When you focus on listening and acknowledging where they are right now, you're creating a safe space where they feel seen, not judged. That feeling of being understood is often the exact spark someone needs to find their own internal drive.
So my last question is, what is the biggest lesson you have learned about motivation?
The biggest lesson I've gathered is that motivation isn't a prerequisite for action, it's a byproduct of it. We spend so much time waiting to feel motivated before we start. But the real magic happens when you move first and let the motivation catch up. Once you see a tiny bit of progress, that's where the real drive comes from.
Thank you everyone for joining today's discussion on understanding the physiology of motivation. I hope this conversation has given you new ideas about what drives you us and how we can stay motivated to achieve our goals. Remember, motivation may start the journey, but sincerity and determinations help us reach the finish line. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in our next discussion.